One of the pending questions that we had was pertaining praying while on an airplane. The ruling on praying while airborne do not change except whenever it is necessary from the ruling while praying on land, which I mean that the Prophet ﷺ said, صَلِّ قَائِمًا فَإِن لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ فَجَالِسًا فَإِن لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ فَعَلَى جَنْبٍ. When it comes to the fard prayer, one of the 5 daily prayers, a person who is capable to stand up should stand up and must keep standing in the salah while reciting the Fatiha and the surah. So standing is one of the arkan, one of the pillars of the salah, and one of the conditions of its validity. So if somebody sat down without necessity and without disability in the salah, if it was a fard prayer, then the prayer is invalid. And if somebody is not able to stand up, but he can sit down, yet he did not sit down, rather he prayed while reclining, then the prayer is invalid. All of that is possible if the person is praying nafla, whether he's airborne or whether he's praying in the masjid or at home at the convenience of his house, because this is nafla. But if he prays while sitting down in the nafla prayer, he would only get half of the reward for the prayer, because he did not stand up. So in the case of the fard, if the person is airborne, he should still stand up if there is a room. Some flights, such as on Saudi Airlines, they have a musalla in the plane. In this condition, you cannot pray while sitting down in your seat. The prayer will be invalid unless if the person is disabled. Some flights do allow the person to stand up and pray. And I discussed this before, and I praise European flights which allowed us to pray, and also they spared a room for us. So when the person tries and said no, it is not allowed, then in this case we look into the prayer schedule. If my flight will arrive before the end of time and I will have a chance to make the prayer, whether it is by itself or can be combined with the following prayer. Take for instance Dhuhr. Because if I'm traveling, the time for Dhuhr will be extended until sunset, because I can combine Dhuhr and Asr together at the time of the later prayer, which is Asr. The end for Asr time is when the sun sets down. من أدرك ركعة من العصر قبل أن تغرب الشمس فقد أدرك العصر. If somebody got to pray 1 rak'ah of the Asr prayer before sunset, then he has indeed prayed Asr on time. Of course, it is disliked to postpone the prayer from its proper time without a valid reason. But if it happened, a person was asleep, a person was traveling, and he barely made it, he prayed 1 rak'ah. And this 1 rak'ah counts as rak'ah if the person rose from ruku'. It is not by completing the full rak'ah and making sujood, no. If the person recited al-Fatiha and the surah, then he made ruku', and he rose up from ruku', this is a rak'ah. So if he raises from ruku', then has prayer, and that was before sunset, then the Asr prayer was offered on time. So if in my mind and with my simple calculation, I believe that number 1, I cannot stand in the prayer in the plane. They don't allow that. There is no room. There are small jets. Okay. What is the next choice? Well, I still have plenty of time. If I arrive, I have like an hour or so. I can still pray Dhuhr and Asr together before the time of Maghrib or sunset. Then you cannot just simply pray on the plane or while airborne, because you won't be able to pray properly, such as facing the Qibla. It's one of the prerequisites of the Salah. And in standing up, I must wait until I land, then I get to pray. If it's not possible to offer the prayer before its time is over, nor do I think that I would reach before the time ends, meanwhile I cannot stand up in the prayer, then we resort to the second concession, which is you may in this condition pray while seated in your seat, facing the Qibla as much as you can. All the previous conditions will be waived if the person was praying nafla, and I will explain after this phone call. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.